From the Summit logo, Jahmai Mashack gets to the bottom of the net to walk it off against the Alabama Crimson Tide. He joins the company of Chase McGrath on players who've been able to walk it off against Alabama. We saw Josh Heupel in the crowd getting ready to smoke those cigars. It is a Saturday, but this time it's in March, and it's Tennessee basketball getting a crucial win over the Crimson Tide. Let's relive that play real quickly. I mean, Jimmy, everything that Jahmai did in this game led to that moment where he's knocking down like a 40-footer to walk it off against Alabama. Paige Dauer alongside Jimmy Hyams recapping this incredible win. They're singing Dixieland Delight afterwards, and deservingly so for Tennessee. Just incredible, though, what Jahmai Mashack did in this game.
What a great moment for Mashack. And that probably is not the number one option you would think for Tennessee to try to score with less than 4 seconds left. However, I'll tell you, Mashack actually leads Tennessee in three-point accuracy in SEC games only, shooting over 41%. Now, it was only 7 out of 17 until that shot. But when it hit the bottom, you talk about teammates celebrating with him. You talk about the fans celebrating with him. I think we all know some of the struggles he's had on offense this year. And for him to hit the game winner, now the number one option, Zakai Ziegler's inbounding the ball.
Yeah.
And it might have been toward toward Gainey, maybe Lanier, one of those two, but he ended up throwing it to Mashack. He crosses the center line, nails the three, and gives Tennessee a walk-off win. And I'm telling you, if they had brought cigars into this arena, they'd still be smoke.
Yeah, I think the fire alarms would be going off because there were so many ball fans in this sold-out arena. And you mentioned, maybe Jahmai Mashack wasn't the first option. Rick Barnes did say afterwards he was kind of like their second outlet, second option. You probably saw in the game that Rick Barnes wanted the timeout, Zakai Ziegler signaling the timeout because they really just wanted to get it past half court, maybe have a better inbounds type of play. But Jahmai Mashack just called game, and it makes sense why he did that. You look at the final 30 seconds of this game, and it's, Alabama at the free throw line. It's Jahmai Mashack that gets the defensive rebound, draws the foul, so he goes to the free throw line, knocks down both of those free throws to tie it at 76. And then what does he do in the final seconds of the game? Walks it off. Tennessee goes on a 7-0 run in those final 30 seconds, starting by Chaz Lanier getting that layup. Incredible.
Well, Mashack got the last 5 points of the game for Tennessee,
yeah.
Which is big. And for him to, look, those free throws were absolutely crucial. Don't forget about that. Earlier in the game, Zakai Ziegler missed 4 free throws in a row, which I thought, boy, that might come back to haunt Tennessee.
Yeah.
But Mashack had his back. He hit those free throws with 30 seconds left, and then he made that crucial three. He made an earlier play in which there was a three-point play the old-fashioned way with the layup. Goaltending was called. He hit the free throw. He came up big, and I'm reminded of what one of Tennessee's assistant coach said earlier in the season, earlier in the week, where he made the comment, those people that don't think Mashack should be on the court, that's just stupid.
Yeah, no, Rock Clark said that to me when I asked him about, Jahmai Mashack. He's like, anyone who says Jahmai should not be on the court, that's stupid. He's like, I don't like to say that, but it's true. And just a little bit more on Jahmai Mashack, because what led to that moment there, I think, is all the confidence that he built throughout the game. If there's a loose ball, Jahmai Mashack's painted on it. You don't have a chance to go and get that loose ball if Jahmai Mashack's on the court, and he proved that so many times, fighting for those loose balls, getting those crucial turnovers, taking, all of these fouls, and his ability to be tough on defense kept Tennessee in this game because that shooting wasn't in their favor for much of this game.
It's important to make the right decisions, like when to go for it on 4th down, or when to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown. It's also important to make the right insurance decisions, too. That's why my office, Trey McAdams State Farm, is here to help you select the right protection at the right price. Our office will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect when the unexpected happens. With Trey McAdams State Farm, it's easy to make the right call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Vols.
No, it wasn't. And Mashack's hustle plays were just remarkable. And it was kind of interesting listening after the game that Bob Kesting and Burt Bertelkamp said they've been doing the announcing for Tennessee the last 26 years, and they voted Mashack the best defensive player in the last 26 years.
It tracks, yeah.
So what a great moment for Mashack to hit that three and send the crowd home. in a very happy mood.
Absolutely. So I guess if we get to our final 2 points here, let's start with Chaz Lanier and that supporting cast. To start the game, he had the game's first 7 points in this game. Got a little quiet though, but it really was just all on him. Igor Milicic kept passing up shots. It didn't look very confident tonight. You and I were talking during the game, what are the other 4 starters going to do? Of course, Jordan Gainey certainly answered the bell with 18 points, but the supporting cast was there in the second half when they needed to be.
And it was absent in the first half. The other 4 starters, Lanier had 12 points in the first half. The other 4 starters had 8 points.
Yeah.
In the second half, the other 4 starters had 26 points. Now, many of those came from Zakai Ziegler. He sat about 10 minutes in the first half because he got in foul trouble. He had a really silly foul, which was his second foul. But there just wasn't much from anybody else in the starting lineup other than Lanier in that first half. So for Gainey and for Ziegler to come through and score like they did, and Mashack to score like they did in the second half was really huge for Tennessee.
Yeah, and what I liked a lot from Chaz Lanier, we talk all the time with him getting a little bit faster. So many times, though, when you look at where his speed is getting quicker, he's almost like in that ready position. His knees are in an athletic stance, and he's ready to fire the ball off. A couple of times he took a couple, tough mid-range jumpers. We saw that a ton from Jordan Gainey, and I think getting those types of shots and his internal clock getting a lot quicker is key when you look to postseason.
Well, Rick Barnes said he wanted Lanier to take 8 more shots per game, and I think Lanier got the message.
Yeah, he certainly did. And then we can kind of look to our third point. I mean, in the beginning, Alabama was destroying Tennessee when it came to points off of turnovers and when it came to points in the paint. Towards the end of the game, it got a lot more even if you just look at the stat sheet in of itself. But in the beginning, I mean, Tennessee did not look good. They were not go Vols. They were not taking care of the ball at all. So many of it was like bad passes from Igor or Bishop Boswell going out of bounds. And I'm glad that that's something that they corrected because I don't think that they were going to be able to overcome that.
Well, let's hit the points in the paint right off the bat. Alabama in the first half outscored Tennessee points in the paint 22-10. Second half, Tennessee outscored Alabama in the paint 18-10. So that was big. This was also a matchup, Paige, the first time ever these 2 teams were both ranked in the top 6 when they played each other. Tennessee is now 7-0 at home in top 6 matchups all time. And in their last 22 games against a ranked opponent at home, Tennessee's won 20. That's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, I like those numbers. You can get used to that. And I guess kind of all of this leads to something that we talked about just before we taped this. So if you go back to the Auburn game, obviously Tennessee didn't look its best, but its defense really rose to the occasion so much that they've done this entire SEC play, holding opponents to below its scoring average. And I heard Zakai Ziegler when I asked him, he's like, we could be a dangerous team. If we're playing as good as we can, we're a dangerous team. That game against Auburn was a national championship preview. And I think what we saw against Alabama, you could certainly agree with that tonight.
Yeah, Alabama came in with the #1 scoring offense in the country, averaging 91 points. How many did they get? 76. Out of Tennessee's 29 games this year, 28 times they have held the opponent below their scoring average. They have held every SEC opponent below its scoring average. So it was a non-conference game that they allowed more points than the average of the opponent. That's pretty darn impressive. That tells you, now look, I know they had a couple of blips on the radar, in particular against Kentucky when Kentucky shot 50% in both those games. But otherwise, this Tennessee defense in SEC games has been pretty darn good. Yeah,
and you have your defense beating your offense. That's all you can really ask for. But a great win from Tennessee tonight. We'll have so much more on this win, especially as we get our attention starting to turn to the SEC tournament and postseason play. But what a great walk-off for the Tennessee Volunteers against Alabama. We'll talk to you guys later this week.